Welcome back to Reddit from Reddit. Today we're taking a look at the AskReddit, what is your strongest held opinion? Left lanes are not for cruising 10 miles per hour into the speed limit. Move the frick over. Just because you're older than me doesn't mean you're right and I'm wrong. That most people don't deserve a driver's license. Yeah, I think I'm a crappy driver, but the drivers on the roads are even crappier than me. What the frick? I'd rather be excluded for who I include than included for who I exclude. That is the dilemma of high school in a nutshell. Question everything. Never stop asking why are things the way they are. Why? Listen here, you little that this toothpaste should not be recommended. Those other 9 dentists can go suck it. Found the 10th dentist. 10th dentist could be a funny phrase for saying you disagree with most of the people you would normally agree with. Sidewalk is for regular walking, not fancy walking. What about silly walking? That's far too complicated to go into here. They've got an entire ministry for that. MLM companies should be banned. Basically, it should be illegal to invest or pay into their employment by owing the company money before they begin working. If it's required to do your job, the company pays for it and they make an investment in you. The school system is broken. I still cannot freaking believe they somehow make history boring. It took me until 2 years into college to actually look stuff up on my own, and I was blown away. It's the greatest story ever told, and they reduce it down to the most dull and meaningless crap. Ken Burns documentaries should just be required viewing in high schools. I always use ancient Rome as an example of this. Actual history, insane politics and incredible warfare, leading to one of the largest empires the planet has seen. School books, and this is what they called the sitting room. Here, for 3 years, we want you to learn about the Pilgrims. Squanto helped the new Americans grow corn. Also, he who does not work shall not eat. And also, of course, they worship God. Isn't that great? Okay, great. What about anything that's been happening in the past 30, 40 years? What about the last couple of presidents? Squanto. Seriously, for the record, I graduated high school just a few years ago. I don't even remember being taught thoroughly about 9/11. I didn't know there was an economy crash in 2008 until this past year, but no, we definitely need to go over the Pilgrims in early America for 3 years. To be fair, in senior year, we finally got to learn more about recent history, from World War I up to JFK, I think it was. But I don't remember going into the 80s or 90s at all. You know, the more relevant stuff. Thanks, school system of America. When it came to history, you failed me. As an American, this is correct. The vocal minority do the most damage. The squeaky wheel gets the grease is so true across many situations. During late 2018 and early 2019, there was a huge undercover Reddit marketing campaign by bidet manufacturers to sell more bidets. This ended when a comment once joked about how there had to be some sort of bidet conspiracy theory because they were seeing so many posts praising them. Think back. I guarantee that you've noticed how many comments like, I love my bidet, and it changed my life, and I could never go back. You've seen here on Reddit a while back. You couldn't throw a rock in a thread without calling in the bidet praise squad. But since that one joke about it being a conspiracy, they all just vanished overnight. My guess? Big bidet flew too close to the sun and got spooked, and without that sweet, sweet cash flow, Redditors didn't have any more incentive to talk about bidets, which is why you don't see any more comments about it. I'm still seeing those. If you got poop on your arm, would you just wipe it off with paper posts? I think Big Bidet is still out there, quietly testing the water, so to speak, and waiting for the right time to flood all the comments. No crap, not for me anyway, ever since I bought my Ass Host 2000. This is not an opinion, it is a belief, one that I now subscribe to. Turn signals matter. Or as my people say, use your fucking blanca. Sometimes the bad guy has a point, even if he's still the bad guy. That's what makes the best villains. The best villains shouldn't have evil logic, just evil methods. Just because you are a bad guy doesn't mean you're a bad guy. Trash doesn't belong on the ground. Find a freaking trash can. I don't get how people can do that. Just put it somewhere until you find a trash can. The worst is finding trash at a national park. Everyone's an idiot, some more than others. I declare myself king of the idiots. And who are you that I must bow so low? The whole don't do unto others what you don't want done unto you thing. Isn't this the golden rule? I was taught the golden rule is do unto others what you would have them do unto you, which is actually slightly different. No, the golden rule states it's okay when it's in a three-way. Just because you disagree with, dislike someone doesn't mean they deserve to be treated poorly. My mom has a similar saying. You can dislike things. Don't be a dick about the things you don't like. Hey look, advice that a lot of Redditors should follow. If you only get your information from one source, you aren't informed. And getting it from multiple sources can still mean you aren't informed. It's the quality of the sources, not the quantity. Exactly, but looking for different perspectives on a story from all kinds of sources should be one of the most important steps in finding the truth or getting closer to it in today's journalism sphere. I'll have you know, I get my news from multiple different subreddits. Libraries are absolutely vital public services, and politicians who attempt to bleed them dry through slow cuts to funding are depriving their communities of a fundamental good. The number of people who are reliant on libraries for just internet access is really amazing. I almost always see most of the computers full. Limiting knowledge is limiting freedom. Always strive for improvement in physical condition, intelligence, and the lives of those around you. Since the beginning, it's 2019. I've gone back to school. I'm 42. I'm losing weight, 84 pounds so far, and my fiance is pregnant, about 5 weeks. It'll be first one for both. Let's just say that not only do I believe in what you said, but I've also decided to act on it on a daily basis from now on. We have one life to live. Make the most out of it. I've still got a lot of work in front of me to be half the man I wish I'll become, but I'm already so far ahead of the lazy, out of shape, and resentful salesman I was a few months ago. Try to put yourself in the other person's shoes, understand their circumstances, then judge. Add on, if someone is doing something that literally does not affect you or anyone else, leave them the frick alone. Before you judge someone, walk a mile in their shoes. That way, when you're done judging them, you're a mile away and you have their shoes. What if I just want to push someone over? What if they don't have shoes? My strongest held opinion is that we do not value humility enough. All of us, each and every one, are flawed and ignorant and speak beyond what we should because of our own biases on a regular basis. Too often we argue things or double down on things we are not properly informed about or have our own judgment compromised by our own biases on, and it only hurts all of us. Yes, and real humility is incredibly freeing in the fleeting moments we experience it. People make all kinds of terrible decisions and miss out on all kinds of wonderful opportunities because they are terrified of being wrong or looking foolish. And they get horribly stuck in their lives because they can't face the possibility they were wrong. Be wrong, admit it, even if it's only to yourself. Cry or laugh, move on. Ego is a pretty big personal enemy for all of us. Being educated does not mean you're intelligent. If I learned anything in college, it was this. I have 2 college degrees, and I met plenty of stupid people while I was there, including some professors. Not everyone was stupid, obviously, but it was definitely more than a few. I've also met plenty of people who have never set foot inside of a university that were significantly smarter than me. The owl is no wiser than any other bird, but he specializes in the night. The red-tail rides the thermals better than any hummingbird who beat wind. Meanwhile, the carrion birds gather about that which no other will eat. We are specialists and we are generalists, and we are all subjects to our own nature. Sorting by controversial will turn this post into an unpopular opinion thread. Isn't unpopular opinions mostly people posting about popular opinions that they pretend aren't popular? Am I right to assume it's a bunch of people talking about guns and how many genders there are? People don't always change. Leave my underwear out of this. It can happen here. Doesn't matter much what it is, or how long ago it happened last. People are still people. We just have fancier toys now. It can happen again, and it can happen here. Plan accordingly. And it can be anything from a natural disaster to a terrorist attack, mass shooting, to the rise of a brutal authoritarian regime. It all happened before, and it can all happen again. This is why I think studying history is so important. You can learn what happened, how people reacted, and how well it worked out for them. That brings me back to March when the Christchurch shooting happened. Never in a million years did I ever think something like that would happen in peaceful little New Zealand, and lived my life this far thinking that such acts of violence only occurred in places like the US, etc. When the shooting happened and I saw it on the news, I just sat in front of the TV for hours because I couldn't comprehend that something like that had happened in a city I loved, in a country I call my home. It taught me this lesson pretty well. This is how I feel watching the protests in Hong Kong. Our rights here in the States are not guaranteed, and I'm not giving them up without a fight. There are lots of people who want me to be quiet so they can take away my rights. Frick Chris Brown. Frick R. Kelly, too. I feel bad for the athlete Chris Brown. Gets 4th in the Olympics and suffers the same name. Women's clothing needs to have larger pockets. I honestly have no idea how women can use such tiny pockets. I often find that even male pockets can be on the small side. Songs with sirens in them shouldn't be played on the damn radio. Yes, and furthermore, radio ads shouldn't be allowed to have honking horns in them. Probably these two. Believe whatever you choose to believe, but believe just as firmly that you can be wrong. Treat others the way you'd like to be treated, even if they really don't deserve it. Sexual assault charges, including molestation, sodomy, and child sex charges, as well as human trafficking and child porn, should carry heavier sentences than drug charges. It's BS that people who have actually changed their lives and haven't been around the drug lifestyle for years can't even get a decent job because of a record and the societal view of it due to the government money machine war on drugs. It should be a no-brainer that a dad raping their kid should carry heavier sentences than some kid doing weed. But they don't, which is freaking stupid. People should stop blaming all their farts on the dog. Nice try, dog. Opinions should not be strongly held in the presence of fact. More so, opinions should not be strongly held in the absence of fact. If you look down on and or mistreat wait staff, janitors, retail workers, etc., you are an awful person regardless of anything else. The amount of people who simultaneously demand a service and then denigrate the people who provide it is too damn high. One of the most important things for anyone to develop is empathy. Han shot first. Han shot only. I love how ambiguous the original scene was. It was up to the audience to determine if this guy was good or not the first time you met him. If she cheats with you, she will cheat on you. You cheated on me when I specifically asked you not to? My brother had a girlfriend who one day brought over her best friend to meet him. When girlfriend was out of the room, best friend told him she was a better cook, a better cleaner, and a better screw, and that he should go out with her, not the girlfriend. So he did, dumped his girlfriend, and started dating this girl. When he told me, I immediately told him to dump her or he'll be sorry. He didn't, and he was. How could anyone not understand that someone willing to do that to her best friend was a C word? It's okay to be weak when you're at your breaking point. It's okay. Strong men also cry. The remake spree that Disney is on has made this into a lazy era of filmmaking. You can't control how you feel, but you can control how you act. And if you can't control how you act, you remove yourself from the situation, go to bed, and try again tomorrow. And that, right there, is my 2-part patent-pending method for living with bipolar disorder. To be human is to be imperfect. Life's meaning is made, not found. Life is essentially meaningless. The meaning of life is to live a meaningful life. The fact that you're a minority, whether it be by your race, gender, sexuality, etc., does not stop you from being racist, sexist, homophobic yourself. I've seen this way too much in my life. At least in the US, the school system is extremely inefficient and wastes a lot of time. Cereal first, then milk. Except for when you're on bowl number 2. Milk first, then cereal, then bowl. Science should be at the heart of our decision-making process for all that is important. Side note, science is a method, not a result. This means that our body of knowledge will change over time. Embracing what we know we don't know should be seen as a sign of strength, not weakness. Politicians are public servants and are there to serve the people. If they are found to be corrupt or partake in any illegal activities, they should have all of their assets seized, therefore impacting their families, and then thrown in jail for life. The abuse of the public's trust should be regarded as treason. This is an excellent idea in theory, but a logistical nightmare, I fear. Who defines abuse of public's trust? Who determines when a person is in violation, and who and how will they be prosecuted? The threshold needs to be higher than a simple accusation, but I doubt we could ever get enough politicians to enact a law that is solely directed at them. I also don't trust politicians to police themselves. It just devolves into a way of more easily removing their enemies. It is a really great idea, though, sincerely. There are 2 sides to every story. Cheating is one of the worst things the average person is likely to do in a relationship. There's lots worse things in the deep end. Physical or emotional abuse, encouraging your partner to abuse illicit substances so you won't have to face the fact that you have a problem, stealing from your partner, etc. Killing their pets? I spent too long scrolling and forgot my really good advice. And that's the end of this Ask Reddit. What is your strongest held opinion? Let us know down below in the comments what's your strongest held opinion. Also, while you're down there, don't forget to hit the like button, get subscribed to Reddit from Reddit, and share this video with your friends so you can rejoice over other people's opinions, especially if you think they're wrong. Thank you for watching this video, and we will see you in the next one.